The Satoshi Alien will help you understand technology and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and believe you like it. The Satoshi Alien will help you understand investments and make money, so come listen to the aliens guidance. Listen to the
All right, welcome back.
What's going on, man? It's been a while. How you been?
It's been pretty good. I've been all right. I've been busy. How about you?
Same, dude. I need that summer break, honestly. And I think there wasn't that much going on at times, and we kind of had less content to talk about. So it's probably a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, and we were busy. I mean, Bitcoin. When did we stop recording?
I remember you had a conversation. We had a conversation, and you were like, Bitcoin needs to close above this price level, and I think we'll be okay. And I think like 3 days later is when the big crash happened. I don't think we've been recording since the crash, honestly. I'm not sure.
I feel like even before, I feel like as everything went up, we got super busy. And then also we were just kind of like realizing gains. We're like, shit, this is kind of a little life-changing. We gotta
Right.
gotta take some time to figure this out.
Right. I mean, the crazy thing for me is I was like 95% stocks at that point.
And I think sorry. I think the last episode we were talking, and I was like, you really need to up your crypto. And that might have been the last episode we had.
I took your advice. I honestly cut my stock holdings in half and like doubled up on what I had in crypto. And hopefully this pays off, but I like my chances, honestly, long term.
Nice. Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, I felt honestly that crash really gave me a lot of opportunities because I kind of was underweight crypto, right? Like I had my Bitcoin position, I had my AMP position, but I really didn't have anything else. Like I didn't really hold any ETH. I didn't really hold any other L1s.
You didn't hold any ETH? I thought you had a lot. Oh no, you sold all your ETH for Bitcoin.
Yeah. So March 2020, the world's falling apart. We start to rebound because the Fed is printing trillions of dollars every month. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is when you buy Bitcoin. So I converted all of my ETH into Bitcoin. In hindsight, I should have listened to you because you said keep a little ETH, it's worth it. And I although I love Ethereum, I was just like, no, this is it. The Fed's printing so much money. This is the hyperinflation moment.
I was up like 10x, 12x, 13x. Like, what do you want me to do? You know, I got to realize gains. Otherwise, it's just like, what's this whole thing for? You know. So, yeah, I sold a lot of Ethereum, but I was up like 10x, 12x, 13x. Like, what do you want me to do? You know, you got to realize gains. Otherwise, it's just like, what's this whole thing for? You know, sucks. Like, I feel bad about like not having as much Ethereum as I used to have, but you know, you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day.
Exactly. Like I trimmed some Bitcoin in January and February, around 38,000, and I think I took some off around 48,000 maybe. And I
remember you doing that.
Yeah, I got some air conditioning installed throughout my house. I got some renovations done with it, and it was good. And then I immediately regretted it, honestly,
because we kept going.
Right. It went up to like 64. And then when it started coming back down, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to reallocate. So I started in at 55,000. I started buying more Bitcoin, and I bought back not all of what I sold because I sold a lot, honestly. But I bought back a decent portion. So I'm kind of happy at least with that.
Nice. Taxes though next year are going to be insane.
Hopefully we get some wash sale opportunities, right?
I don't know. I'm just gonna plug it all into token tax and like, all right, this is all I can do, I guess, right? Hopefully it works.
I got a mental idea of what I realized, like in terms of like the dollar amount I took into my pocket. I can't figure out what the percentage of profit it is because how do I do that, right? Like I bought Bitcoin I bought Ether from 2018 until March 2020. And then I converted it all into Bitcoin around, I think Bitcoin was between 8 and 10K around that point when I converted it all. How am I going to figure this out? I don't even know what my ETH cost average was, you know? So
yeah,
it can be rough.
It's like impossible. And then when you're dealing with different platforms and you're withdrawing into like your own wallets and then bringing it to another platform to sell, it's like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like,
no one does.
Really, yeah.
No one does. You think Gary Gensler or any of these, geniuses in Washington know what they're doing? No. Not at all.
Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty obvious at this point.
Right. Gotta throw that shade out there at them. How do you feel about?
I've been thinking a lot about regulations, and something I've been taking away is that probably the top coins, right? Like the coins with Grayscale Exchange, I know what Grayscale Exchange, but that have Grayscale funds, right?
Yeah.
That are super regulated, that have already registered with the SEC and done all that compliance. They're probably going to be in the best position going forward when regulations drop, because they already have like a legal sort of apparatus to help them. On top of them already going to the regulators first and getting a lot of this stuff cleared. It's going to be very hard for the SEC to be like, hey, look, we're going to penalize you now after the fact that you registered with us and you've been trying to do everything, the right way. So I'm hoping it really helps the bags that I have that are super regulated.
Well, you own a few of those Grayscale coins, right? You got some Litecoin. You holding anything else that they have?
Filecoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Ethereum, Bitcoin.
You have any BAT? Remember BAT? That was a big one.
Yes, I remember BAT. Yeah. I still like BAT. I just don't think about it at all. I use Brave though.
I use Brave at times on my phone when if I go on FinViz or like a website that has too many ads, I just do it in Brave. It's a lot easier.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a great product.
It is, honestly. I'm just so used to using Safari on my computer that I don't even think about Brave,
Oh, I'm completely off Safari. Even when I use Macs at work, I'm just all about Chrome.
Yeah.
Or Brave.
I use Chrome for the crypto stuff because you have to, because there's no browser extensions anywhere else. But yeah. It's interesting stuff, man. I wonder when Apple is going to start opening their doors to crypto in their wallet, right? Like you see PayPal, you see Square, a couple of people are starting to now turn, their pages on it. Facebook's getting into it. At what point does Apple say, hey, we have the Apple Wallet. Why don't we enable some Bitcoin capabilities or at least some depositing of addresses or something,
I could see it, but it's not, they're going to probably be one of the last to move. Apple, Google, they're these now behemoths, to start moving the cogs in the machine probably takes so much.
And the thing is, do they really care too? They can concede their wallets and still be making billions upon billions each minute, So I think it's part of the problem.
And also you got to think about how they monetize their user base.
Yeah.
Right. Web3, that system goes out the window. So they're not going to be so quick to engage and so quick to implement these protocols.
I do wonder, the old Apple ethos was cannibalize yourself before somebody else does, right? That was Steve Jobs' whole thing. And Web3 has the potential to cannibalize their app store in certain capacities. I do wonder if Apple's going to be more proactive because that had been their ethos for so many years. Different leader now, though, so I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. So yeah, I think that, like I said before, they're going to be one of the last to move. I think that they're probably in some real serious denial about what's going on, just like much of the world is. Whoever's not paying attention to the space, they really have no idea what's happening.
Right.
And it's evident in the mainstream coverage of the industry. Mainstream coverage is so terrible, and it's hilariously terrible actually at this point.
I know when Jim Cramer is going on saying, you got to sell your crypto, I'm selling my crypto. But at the same time, he's buying Ethereum. It's just like, what are you doing to people, bro? Why didn't you tell him to sell it in freaking January and February and March? That's when
he had to sell it. He had to sell it himself to buy, to pay off his mortgage.
Right. It's ridiculous, man. The mainstream media is really bad. There are not many good people to talk to about crypto out there. Of all the sources we use, right? Because we spend a lot of time researching crypto, reading about it. I do not cross any path with what I use for stocks. Barron's is the only medium where I started to see okay crypto coverage. They're starting to open the doors on it, and I really respect them. But it's such a small microcosm in relationship to the big picture, right? I'm not, if I need crypto news, I'm not going to CNBC or Bloomberg or CNN. I never would anyway for stock news, but you go to the small guy. You're going to, Joe developer who has a Substack, or you're going to Masari, which is probably the biggest source you would use, or Real Vision, right? You're not going to the big media companies. And I wonder if that paradigm of these gigantic media companies is gonna see a bit of a change, right? Do they try and buy like a small publication or buy off some of these independent writers, or do they just kind of fall apart as dinosaurs like they are?
Well, yeah, I think that they're just gonna fall apart. Honestly,
Yeah.
after the baby boomers go, like Gen X is maybe half in the bag for them. That's about it.
Yeah.
Millennials, we're not watching. We know it's all
No.
bullshit.
If I put on CNBC, it's because I'm home alone and I have nothing to do and I'm bored and I want to watch what Jim Cramer is doing for the fun of it. Not because I want to
Yeah,
see the information, but I want to laugh.
yeah. And he's an entertaining guy.
Yeah, he's an idiot. I mean, he's a genius too. Like I have to give him credit. He's very intelligent, but he knows what he's doing. That's what it is. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, experience will do that.
Yeah. And
Not a bad gardener either.
no, and honestly, that's the kind of stuff I like. Like I enjoy interacting with him or trying to interact with him at least when he's talking about his gardening and stuff. Because that's pretty cool. Like I love gardening. I think everyone should have some kind of, food being grown somewhere, right? Even if it's like in an oil can on your balcony in your apartment, like you got to do something. There's no better way to grow money and to be sustainable than to grow your own food, right? And I think everybody should do that.
No, I agree 100%. I kind of just concreted my entire yard though, so I don't know how that's gonna go.
You know what you do? Because I have my backyard. We just finally finished it. It's all pavers, right? You can get like,
Oh, you got to send pictures.
yeah, I'll show you some pictures when we get off. But you can get some planters and grow in a pot. Like you can grow tomatoes in a pot or certain things like that don't need too much space. There's ways to be convenient, right? Like, have you been to our friend's apartment in Jersey?
Yes.
He's got like a little thing going on his little balcony. He's got the oil can, the olive oil can with some basil growing out of it. He's got like a little tomato bush. Like people are resourceful with their space and you can totally make it work.
It's true.
Yeah.
Very true. You looking at any stocks right now?
Honestly, I don't like anything because I don't like the opportunities. I do like the idea of Square as a trade coming up. I tweeted a chart about it where I thought it was a good buy using 259 as like your stop or your risk level to work off of to anticipate a breakthrough 276 for an eventual 300 run. And I do think Square is going to offer a nice trade coming up. But overall, like I think the stock market is kind of in that point where a lot of excess is being burnt off, right? Like all the high growth tech names are selling off or basing, which is good. We need that. And then there's some momentum names like Cloudflare and Datadog that have continued to run, but I think they're getting expensive and I'm not attractive enough to buy them anymore or with any real size. I did make some positions in the past like couple of months. I bought some Fiverr at 175, which I'm very happy with, small position. I did chase Datadog and Cloudflare at 120 for Cloudflare and I think like 139 for Datadog. I bought some Nutanix today, NTNX. It was a pick that I saw in a research that I subscribed to. I'm not going to name any names, but I really like the thesis because it's an underrated turnaround story. And there's a huge potential jump in growth for 2025 if they nail their estimates. So I say, you know what, I'll buy a small position. And I'm talking like really tiny, like less than 2%. To see if it happens. But other than that, like I'm getting killed in Pinterest. I have a bad buy. I cut that in half. I'm still up 100% in Roku, which is great, but like nothing that I would want to make any big moves on. Unity, we loved Unity. That trade worked out great for us, right? Now I'm just leaving it alone. Yeah, I'm leaving it alone. I'm not touching it because it's great. I'm not really attracted to buying any right now. But I'm leaving it alone. I bought DigitalOcean around $52 and I added a couple of times. I'm very, very happy with that trade. But now that's like $84. I'm not touching that. It's not attractive anymore. So that's where I am with stocks. What about you?
So I've been buying some gold and gold miners. I do like the gold chart. It looks like it's doing a little cup and handle thing. And I've always liked gold.
Hey, you love gold.
Yeah. I mean, I got a special place in my heart for gold. So been buying gold here and there, some gold miners. They're like at a 52-week low. The junior ETF, gold miners, GDXJ.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to return higher than GDX, right? But you're going to lose in the meantime when it's going down because it's the junior miners. Other than that, I also picked up some calls for VIH, the Bakkt wallet. And the reason I did that is because I think that we are going to have a very bullish end of the year for crypto. And I know that they are dropping NFT functionality in their wallet
Oh,
at some
wow.
point.
That's
Yeah,
big. That's big. People love NFTs, man.
exactly. They love NFTs, but also there's going to be a lot of hype around the NFT drop, probably. I'm sure they're going to have some sort of marketing thing. And a lot of people will probably buy the stock around the time that crypto's going crazy. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, whether or not it pans out, we'll see.
One thing I've been noticing with stacks, and I have been following them very loosely. A lot of them were kind of anemic, and then they de-SPAC. They became a normal company, and they were still weak. And then out of nowhere, things started flipping. Right. There were a couple of big names that squeezed, but then there's a couple like Joby Aviation chopped around. Now it's starting to move. Jinko Bioworks chopped around. Now it's starting to move. So I do think something like Bakkt, where it'll de-SPAC, and then probably after a month or so, maybe a couple weeks, it's going to start churning and starting to trade like a real asset as opposed to just sitting around $10 a share,
Yeah, which is exactly what it's been doing, just sitting at
Yeah.
$10 a share. And I was lucky enough to get all my calls like super cheap, and nickel and
Yeah.
dime, and I got like $15, $16, $17 calls. And like, are they gonna be in the money? Probably not, but maybe. I mean, what did it get to? The all-time high was what? It's almost 20.
I remember seeing 17s. It probably came close to 20 around that area, if I had to guess.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I mean, I'm already up. So I'm just kind of like, hey, we'll see where it goes from here. If I lose it all from here, I mean, that's fine too, because I sold a bunch when they
Yeah.
went up over 100%.
What you could do is you could actually, if you're up money on them, you can leg into a spread to like try to lock in some short-term gains. Where like if you own the 15 call for September, let's say, right?
Mhm.
You can sell the 20 call, whatever the premium is, take it in. Even if it's like 5 cents a contract, whatever, you at least take something in to kind of lock some profits on the table. It goes to 20. Now you have a call spread, so that your profit, instead of being exponential, it's more fixed. But still, if you have a 15-20 call spread, it's a $5 profit. That's not bad. That's an idea you could do to lock in some gains too.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's something I could look into.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of let it ride. Just
Yeah,
see
I
where
don't-
it goes. Yeah.
Man, I've been wanting to trade options more, but it's just hard going back to work now. Options, you gotta be kind of either you're sized correctly where it gets cut in half or goes to zero and you're okay with it, or you have to be like, hawking it every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you see those loss porn on Wall Street bets and on Twitter sometimes. People buying like $500,000 in calls.
Dude, I was in the shower the other night and I had this great idea. And I think our Twitter account's doing really well. And what's amazing about our account is it's all organic growth. We don't post anything about how much money we're making, how much money we're losing. We just post our ideas and our feelings, right? And I was thinking, like, if I created a Twitter account that was like Paper Trader 76, and I just go on Thinkorswim, I open up the Paper Trader setting, load it like $1 million, and just start doing these crazy YOLO plays constantly, we would probably have like 100,000 followers by the end of the year, which is such a bad thing and such a problem about how people view finance, right? Because like that shouldn't be why you're following an account. There's so much more to learning and to making opportunities and saying, oh, that guy's made 35 grand on that unaudited. We don't know if he actually made money, but we'll just pretend he did.
Yeah, it's all unaudited. We have no idea how much people are making. They're posting gains and losses, and we just okay, maybe.
Yeah, right. It's like that. I don't want to be toxic and name any names, but there's a couple of these big pumping accounts, and there's allegations that they're paper trading or that they're not even making money. Really, people need to just find normal, good people and just interact with them, and you learn so much. Twitter's an amazing resource if you're
Oh,
willing to make it.
100%.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I got a little LaCroix. No sponsorship, but we should get one.
I got this stuff. It's called green cola.
What is that?
It's like Coke, but with stevia, so it's like 0 calories, and I think it has caffeine from green tea or some shit like that. I don't know.
That's pretty cool, actually. Did you get that like Stop and Shop, or you had to go somewhere special?
Whole Foods. It was on sale, so I just kind of bought it because it was like $3 for I don't know how many they gave me. They gave me a
That's not
bunch.
bad.
Yeah, might as well try it.
You mentioned you're doing a Whole Foods delivery. Is it Whole Foods or Amazon Fresh?
Whole Foods.
So how'd you do that? Because I don't get that option, and I live like 10 blocks from you.
That's weird. How do you not get that option?
Amazon says that Whole Foods isn't in my location, so like they won't let me buy from Whole Foods.
Oh, I guess you're just like probably right outside the border.
That's funny. We're like 5 minutes from each other.
I know. I'm right outside the Postmates border. If I want Postmates, I need to walk like 2 blocks down, and I can get it. But
That's
I
terrible.
can't get it. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Yeah, no, it's totally like for Revels too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you used a Revel before?
Yeah, I use Revel in Lima now too. I use it almost every day for work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's like a 15-20 minute walk, but like a 5-minute scooter ride. And
So-
I push it.
So how does that work? Do you just like jump on and then leave it? Like how's that work?
Yeah, I just jump on, I leave it. And I work in like an industrial area. So like I'm leaving it between like trucks and stuff. I'm like, well, somebody else, it's always gone too, but when I leave, and then I just walk home.
How do you find one? Is there like a Revel like depot near you? Like how's that work?
No, there's a Revel depot in like not too far away in Long Island City.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. But you just go on your phone and they all pop up where they're at. You just walk to one, grab it and go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's super convenient.
And what's like the situation with that? Like how much do they cost?
I spend like maybe $3 a day, like same as taking a train or a bus.
Dude, that's cheaper than an Uber. And it's better than
way
a
cheaper.
train. Trains suck and the buses are terrible.
Dude, even driving's terrible.
Yeah.
How far do you live from work?
I'm 11 miles, but it's not an easy drive to do to be on like an electric scooter, to tell you the truth.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah. But it's an 11-mile drive and it takes me 45 minutes to an hour on a bad day.
Yeah. I was about to say 11 miles is pretty far away from here.
Yeah. It's, like you think about it, 11 miles, if you have a straight shot on the highway, it's what, 10-minute drive? Nah. So I have no straight way to get to my job. That's the problem.
Well, dude, anytime you're like, I mean, you don't have to cut through Manhattan to get to work, but anytime you have to go through Manhattan, it's literally like we live 5 miles away from Manhattan, just about. And I've run there and I've driven, and it's taken me about the same time at times. Yeah.
It's crazy.
On a bike, forget about it though. On a bike, I'm there in like friggin' 15 minutes.
That's amazing, honestly. Isn't it great to be so close to the greatest city in the world?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We don't take advantage though.
No, man, I haven't been back. I went over the summer. I went to the Edge, that like sky deck. I did that, and I thought that was really fun and cool. And I'm terrified of heights, so it's like my way of forcing myself to try and get over it. And it was a little nerve wracking, but it was cool. Like I was happy to do it. But I haven't been to Manhattan, since the lockdown, really, just like once or twice. And I wasn't even really experiencing the city like I used to. I used to go there all the time, just walk around, visit little shops and stuff. It's different now.
Oh, it's completely different.
Yeah.
I mean, there was positives during the pandemic. Like you could walk around drinking.
Yeah,
which is
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. But then, not that I was like getting drunk in the street or anything like that, but it's cool to just like casually have like a one drink and just hang out with somebody, and you don't have to worry about getting a summons or something like that.
Right. It's better than being in an overcrowded bar. Like you could just be outdoors and enjoy the nice weather and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, the weather's gonna end now. So
I know this morning was cold, dude. I had the heat on my way to work.
Yeah, I was shocked to leave the house. I'm like, wow, it's pretty cold. This is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Farmer's Almanac calls for a very long winter.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
How they figure that out though? Like I don't know.
No, I could see like tons of snow, right?
Yeah.
Just because the precipitation we've been getting right now is like insane.
The
we
rain's
had
been
one
crazy.
storm. They said it was the worst in like 153 years. And then the next week we had a storm where like 15 people died.
Yeah, it was really bad. My dryer is broken, you know? It was
Still?
crazy. Yeah, I haven't gotten it fixed. So my insurance company, my deductible is too high, so I didn't even bother making a claim. And then I made a service repair appointment, but everyone must be making these appointments with PC Richard and Son, and my appointment's not until like October.
Oh wow.
So like I have to just wait it out at this point.
What have
Sucks,
you been
but
doing
what
to
you
the
can do?
clothes?
Yeah. I thankfully I've been doing like I've been drying my clothes in my mom's house because she's not too far away.
Nice.
But yeah, it's a headache, honestly.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But you know what? If that's the only thing I'm complaining about after a historic flood that ruined people's lives, I'm very grateful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I got hit pretty bad too. It's pretty.
Yeah. How is that going? Are you back on, on track with the basement or?
Dude, it's fucking a lot. It's a lot of shit.
I
But
get it, dude.
I'm making moves. I had to buy the house, so that was something. You
Yeah.
know. And then now that I have that, I want to like see how the bills roll in for the next like 2-3 months, and I want to see historic end to this bull run in the next
Yes,
like
dude.
6 months or so, because I really don't think it's over. I don't think we topped.
I don't think so either. I did make some comparisons to what tech stocks have done since like March. And I do get some ideas of potential double top and now like a retrace. But crypto is a slightly different animal where you just need one good moment to flip the switch and fire things off a new way,
100%. Think about that meme that was going around, the ET one. If you guys have never seen it, it's amazing. So it's the scene where the guys, where Elliot, his brother, and the friends are riding their bikes trying to escape the police, and they have all these different memes popping up. Basically, all these different. I mean, I guess they're alluding to all these different references that you would understand if you follow the crypto space.
All the different FUD.
Yeah, so they had like yelling, threatening restrictions, China FUD, and then like suddenly it's like Elon embraces Bitcoin, and then they take off above the police. And yeah, there's one moment though where the guy, the brother of Elliot, right? They like zoom into him, and he's like waiting for the Zcash breakout. That resonated with me.
Dude, you know what? I don't own any Zcash. I traded it briefly and I got stopped out. I have like a max pain rule on stuff that I'm not, crazy about. And I like the Zcash community a lot. I think the developers and the people are amazing. That has to be one of the most underrated projects that gets no love on a
Really is.
consistent basis.
100%. And I really think it's gonna have its moment, man. I'm not stressing it. The way I do a lot of investments is especially in crypto, like some stuff I'll trade, but like Zcash, I have my position, I'm holding my position, and I really think that at some point it's going to be a 10x. I
Yeah,
really do.
that's
I
the
just
thing,
don't know
right?
when that is. It could be in like 2-3 years, but it's going to happen. And that
Well,
partnership they just embraced with Filecoin and Ethereum, I think that has a lot of potential.
it makes sense too, right? I've become very bullish on like data storage in crypto because number one, you have like Arweave having Solana's like blockchain stored on its data, servers. You have the rise of NFTs being stored on IPFS, in some cases Arweave as well. I don't see how that stuff doesn't continue growing, and people don't want all their information out in the public. So something like Zcash does offer a very useful and important necessity.
Exactly. And with Halo 2, having your address shielded right off the bat, I mean, that's huge. That's a
Yeah,
very big deal.
yeah,
And I
that's
think
gonna be
integrating
clutch.
that tech in other areas, I mean, it's gonna pay off for everybody.
Yeah, if you're looking for like a undervalued coin to own, I think it's kind of hard to find something that's better than Zcash because of the risk reward factor, the community, right, and the potential for adoption, right. I think it's a great project.
Not only that, but they are fully regulated.
Yeah, in New York City, which is the hardest place to get regulated in
Exactly.
America.
Exactly. You have Gemini, you can make shielded withdrawals from your account to your Zcash wallet.
It's pretty
It's
cool.
pretty big. Yeah, I believe shielded deposits too. I'm not really sure. I would think so.
You know what might help them take off is when you see something like Thorchain integrate Zcash into it, or another privacy coin into it, where you can go into your shielded wallet and then you can go on a DEX, a cross-chain liquidity DEX, and then do whatever you want from there and not have a paper trail, right? A certain breed of trader is going to want that luxury. And I think Zcash could find an opportunity there as a middleman somewhere.
No, I can definitely see that. And even just using it to hold value and send value. I mean,
yeah,
you know, I don't want everyone to be able to see into my wallet and see how much I have. I mean,
no, we were talking and I suggested, the other day that maybe we make our avatars, some NFTs that we want to buy or something like that. We buy them, right? But I don't want people to then say, okay, Satoshi Alien posted this NFT. Let's go see what he's holding. Like, I don't want them to know. So I got to make a burner wallet now for any NFT that I want the public to see, right? And I think that's a problem. Like, blockchain's amazing and transparency is amazing, but people deserve the right to have privacy.
yes, I agree. Well, here's the solution to that. Just have so many wallets that you have no idea what's going on. Just have vague ideas about like, oh, I have a wallet here and a wallet here and a wallet there, and not actually know what's there. And that way you can go back and you'll find money. not that I do that, definitely not.
It's so true though, dude. And then like throw staking into it too. So you're staking this coin over here on that wallet. You're yield farming on that wallet, and you never know where any of your money is ever again.
Yeah, when it's gone, you don't even miss it. You're like, oh well,
yeah,
there we go.
Right. I got a couple of bucks. I have a very small yield farming position in the Solana ecosystem because I wanted to test it out, and I was like, okay, cool, we'll just let it work. And I might one day forget about it completely because I never look at it. It's not a lot of money, and it's not where I would normally spend my time looking, right? If I was a hardcore like DeFi person, man, it's gotta be, you need something like Zapper or InstaDApp to work with you, because it's gotta be really difficult keeping track of everything,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I can barely keep track of it now. I can't even imagine, yield farming, using all these different wallets, trying to get on top of it all.
Right. And then, I'm going to bridge to this ecosystem. I'm going to bridge to layer 2. Yeah, who's got time for that? It's a lot.
Exactly. But what we do have time for? Playing Rarity.
Oh, dude. Yes. I spend so much time at when I get a chance, when I'm free, to just send my guys out on little quests to mine for rocks. It's
I haven't mined yet, bro. I have to mine. You have to.
It's very raritymining.com, I think. I have give me a second. Let me give you the exact, because I don't want to get you fished. I have in my wallet, I have like all the front ends written down. Raritymining.com. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's a really cool project. So I plan on writing the next Substack article for us on Rarity. I'm going to talk about Loot a little bit because I think there's some parallels, but really on like a community of developers and how they can take an idea and just blow it up because of the fact that everything's open source and we're all working together for the same goal. I think it's so cool and so awesome,
Oh, definitely. And then, I mean, if you want to craft or something like that, it kind of forces you to use FTM scan and like go in there and play with the contracts and get a little technical.
Yeah.
So
yes.
It's cool.
I learned a lot about, I didn't know you can like mint or do stuff off of like Etherscan or FTM scan. So I learned about that, and it's really cool. I don't know if I'm ever going to make money off this, right? Like I bought like a handful of Phantom just to play around with the idea and learn. Maybe at some point I can sell some stuff and make money, but I don't even care. I'm just kind of like letting it ride. It wasn't a lot of money. And I just want to see where everything goes and what the community creates. I think it's so cool what they're doing.
Oh, 100%. And hey, man, having a high level character, there's only one way to get that high level character, and that's by logging in every day and doing these little adventures.
Yeah. And Rarity Manifested, they have a new option to like craft and create like weapons and armor.
Oh, so really? It's live?
Yeah, it's live. It's pretty cool. But every time you like craft, you lose some XP, right?
Oh.
So, you lose a whole day of questing if you want to mine, if you want to craft something. So it's really about like strategy and grinding and dedication. And I do think some people are going to find an interesting time to take a shortcut when they can, so there is some value with that.
I agree. I mean, my strategy is going to be just leveling up my characters since it takes a day. I think anything you can craft will probably be crafted in mass by bot farms.
I can see that.
Yeah. So anything you can create or anything like that. But the one coded limit is that 250 experience points per day. That's it. That's all you get if you check in. Right.
Yeah.
So given that, I would assume that, that'll bring value, having a high level character in and of itself, because there's only one way to do it, either buy it or grind.
Yeah. So do you think it's better to not craft and just like hoard as many materials as possible and XP?
That's basically what I'm going to do. I'm going to see how that goes. Part of the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm a little lazy and I don't want to craft.
A lot of work, dude. We have too many characters.
Yeah,
I regret it.
A lot of characters. And the other part is just because I'd rather just stack. And also I did take some time and buy a bunch of names.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, you had some good ideas for names. Me, I was like a moron about it, but it's all right.
No, honestly, I think you're smart, right? Like any name is gonna have value, no matter what it is. Number one.
Sure.
I had no choice because like I try to be really creative, and every single name by the time I got up to it was taken, right? So now I'm thinking like in 4D about what's coming in the future that people aren't even like aware of, and betting that it's going to become popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like, who cares? Like, we're just having fun. But this,
yeah, exactly.
You have to really think ahead now because people have attacked everything in this game that they can get their hands on.
Yeah, it's true. But what I was the stupid thing though is I was really early with the names, and I could have gotten really good names, and I didn't know you could put a space. Even though it clearly says that like right in the description, you could add spaces. I didn't know, and I was just like one wording everything. I'm like, wow, I got all the names that I wanted. This is great. Right. But like I went back and I'm like, you could put a space, and they were all taken.
You know what though? At some point, the person's gonna say, there's gonna come a person, they're gonna say, I want this name, can't get it. Okay, I want this name with no space, can't get it. And you're gonna be able to at least offer that out. And maybe it won't be the same premium of the space, but you'll have demand for it, for the name. So I think that's still an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I mean, I could see what sells at what price. Like, let's say, for example, Satoshi Alien sold for 100 Phantom, and I have Satoshi Alien with no space. So then I could offer for 50 or 25 or 30, right? In theory, if I wanted to do that.
Someone's gonna buy it.
Yeah, in theory, hopefully, right?
If there's enough demand coming to the game, right? Like we're banking on adoption at the end of the day.
And I did buy some characters already.
Yes, you've been pushing the 4-digit characters. Is that what they are?
Yeah, I want 3-digit, but I don't see any 3-digit on Rarity C, which is the website that has the characters. So gotcha. I bought some 4-digit characters. I know of somebody who's buying some early characters as well. And you know what? Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that expensive right now. So it's like, it's more than I'd spend in like real life on things. like much of cryptocurrency, I guess, in general, the entire sector. But it's worth a shot. Why not? Yeah,
I saw this great meme, and this guy's like, I won't spend $100 on a backpack for hiking, but I'll spend $1,000 for a backpack that's an NFT.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of doesn't make any sense, but it's like when you get all these gains, it's just like it hits a little different. Real life money and internet money is not caught up in my brain yet, and at some point,
I've been hoarding the coin instead of the NFTs. And I think it's really because I missed the boat. Like all the good ones are now too high up, and I'm not going to pay like 5 ETH. Like screw that. That's silly. Like ETH is going to go to 10K. Why would I get rid of 5 of that and gamble on a JPEG? I don't feel comfortable doing that,
Yeah, I feel you.
But I do want to try and get some cheap JPEGs that I think are cool. So I'm really like scouring the internet and asking people for like what they like to get ideas. Like if I can get a JPEG for like 0.05 ETH, I'll take it. Like I'll spend $200 on something stupid if I like what it looks like. I don't care about making money. I just want to own a couple of cool things for the culture of it at this point.
Yeah, that's how I felt initially when everybody was getting into it, and I bought some stuff just that I liked, and now I'm kind of cool with it. Like I sold 2 Pokemon.
That's right. You're making money on that.
Yeah, I bought them for like $20 or $30. I sold them for like I don't know 500 or 600 each.
Crazy.
And when Diglett sold, I didn't even realize it sold for like a month. And then like I went into that wallet. I'm like, why do I have ETH here? I'm like, oh shit, Diglett sold. Okay. Oh man, I like Diglett.
It's hilarious, dude.
Should have never dropped the price. I wanted 0.69 ETH, dropped it to 0.25. Should have never done that.
That's the interesting thing that's going to happen with NFTs now is everyone's pricing them in ETH, and that's fine. That's a smart thing to do. It makes sense for the ecosystem. But what happens now as ETH goes up, and you have this NFT for 0.5 ETH, but then ETH goes to 5K, and you originally listed at like ETH at 1K, right? Are people gonna rise up and want to spend that 0.5 ETH, or is there gonna have to be a price drop to meet a middle ground? Are we gonna see auction market theory play into it?
I think there's a price drop.
Yeah.
If you want something, I mean, when that person bought the Diglett off me, ETH was at $2,000, and I think it had crashed at $2,000. Like it wasn't during the rise; it was during the fall.
Right.
So they waited at a certain point to get it.
Yeah, I think either you wait for the pullbacks in ETH to buy what you like if you could, or we'll see what happens. I do wonder if you're going to see traditional supply and demand metrics really start to hit, and people are going to have to maybe bid on things, maybe create a spread. I wonder if that's going to happen down the line. We treat it like we treat a DEX.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I can see it, but a lot of these projects are going to be illiquid, and no one's going to want them.
And that's the thing, right? Like you're going to have, a bid of, I'm going to bid 0.3 and you're going to bid 0.9 on the ask, and it's going to sit there and no one's going to buy it for about 6 months. That's the other thing. Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of sad we missed the CryptoPunks boat though.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I thought they were really dumb. I was like, who wants to buy this stupid pixelated image? Like, what am I going to do with this? And I was so wrong, clearly.
Oh yeah. You see them all over New York City too, which is crazy.
I know. I feel
street art. I see them on billboards.
I feel the FOMO and the sadness, and I feel like I let my family down. We don't have it.
That's funny.
Oh man.
But we didn't let them down in other ways, so we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. You looking at anything else? Anything in particular catch your eyes?
So something I saw on Gemini recently that I bought a small bag of was let me get the ticker.
Is it the carbon credit coin? I was thinking about
carbon credit coin.
Yeah.
Carbon credit coin.
Talk to me. Why'd you do it?
So basically I did it because I was thinking in my head, like, all right, what are the odds that somebody like remember when Vitalik donated all that money to COVID in India?
Yep. All the Shiba.
Right? Yeah, right. Like, what are the odds that somebody's just gonna buy a bunch of this and just burn it all, and it's gonna send the price skyrocketing, right? Yeah. And if that's the case, I will probably burn some as well in solidarity because I made a bunch of money, and why not?
Right.
But yeah, I think that it was just a cool idea, cool concept, and I would think that the price of 1 ton of carbon emissions is probably just gonna go up on its own.
Yeah,
I don't see that as getting cheaper.
I think you're right. I was actually listening to I listen to Bankless, the Bankless podcast every week, and they have an episode with ClimaDAO, and Clima is another carbon credit coin, and their whole goal as a DAO is to skyrocket the price of carbon credits so people can no longer afford them, and instead have to actually create like renewable, climate friendly options instead of buying carbon credits. So I think your theory is on the right track where you're going to see intense demand naturally, right? And at the same time, if enough, smart people, enough rich people get involved, you can see some secondary demand as well.
We'll also think about it in terms of who's selling these carbon credits, right? Like, right. I think, isn't that a big part of Tesla's revenue?
Yeah. Tesla was making a lot of money on the tax credits from the government. When Microsoft, Google, when they said like, oh, we're going to be carbon neutral by 2025, they're doing it by buying an equal amount of carbon credits,
Interesting.
So yeah, I actually was looking into the idea as well, and I was thinking about it, and I think it makes sense,
Well, I got a small position. I mean, I definitely like didn't do any due diligence. I was like, this is a great idea. It just got listed. Fuck it. Let's do it. You know, it'll be on Coinbase at some point, maybe, and then it'll probably pump. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But it's not gonna go to zero.
No, I mean, I have to look, I want to look into it and have it on my list because I want to know like was it backed by and all that, boring stuff. But I doubt it ever goes to zero. And we're probably sitting at the floor. Like carbon credits naturally are gonna go higher. So I am thinking about buying some myself, honestly, even if it's a small position to at least I'll offset my carbon footprint every day,
And yeah, you can just burn some off, right?
Right.
Also I got some brush.
Yes.
You can get that on PaintSwap.finance.
Right.
I aped into that. Which is crazy because I never ape into anything. I'm like, I pretty much do my due diligence. I take my time. I buy things slow positions, But for some reason, I went in to PaintSwap.finance after playing Rarity, and I was looking at the names and selling names and looking at the Phantom NFTs, and I saw Brush and the ecosystem, the website. It just kind of told me like, hey, just do it, man. I looked at the chart. Looked good. Wasn't on CoinGecko yet. Wasn't on CoinMarketCap. It's affiliated, I guess, with Rarity in a way. Not really. But when you go to rarity.game and you hit Marketplace, it brings you to PaintSwap. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I guess they kind of feed off each other in a way. And since I'm, all in on Rarity, I figured why not? This makes sense.
Yeah, dude. I didn't buy as much as you did. But I was like turning the idea in my head, and you told me it was like 0.023, and you told me at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Maybe I'll grab some in the morning. I just want to read up on it before I do. And then the morning came, and I was going for a walk, my wife and kid, and it's like 0.035, and I'm like, okay, this is starting to make some sense. I need to find like 10 minutes to look it up. And then I came home, and it was 0.045. I'm like, okay, I'll just buy some. And then like I ate lunch. I looked after lunch, it's 0.06, and I'm like, shit, this thing is just kept going. I actually have a couple of like farms going on PaintSwap. I got some staking, and I got some brush phantom farms going on. You know what, it's not a lot of money. It's like like $50, but I'm like, let me just see what happens, because if it goes up, it's such a cheap token that like maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe we'll go like $10. It'll be hilarious, right? So it's like, screw it. I'll leave it there, and I'm never gonna look at it.
Market cap's like $5 million.
Right. And they have they have insane yield. So like we can compound and probably double our positions just by holding.
Exactly. You really can't go wrong.
No, it's an interesting product too, right? Like it's an NFT platform marketplace, right? But you also have a DEX for trading phantom coins.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the ability to like draw an NFT right on the website and mint it.
Have you tried that?
No, because you have to like pay for it, and like you need like
computer space.
And I'm like, I'm not. You did it?
I did it. Yeah, I don't even know what I did, to be honest with you. I have no idea what I did.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have no.
It wasn't like I had to upload an image, so I uploaded an image of my dog, and then it was like you had to like kind of draw, but as you're drawing, it's just uncovering the image below, but you only had like a time limit. And then I saved the file somewhere on my computer, and then I just was like, I don't know what I just did. Whatever. I burned 50 brush. What am I gonna do? Yeah.
Right. And then there you go, right? Like this seems like a fun thing to do. Let me just do this, and you burn money out of it. It's worth it. I think I actually think it's not a bad tuck it away and look at it in 10 years kind of thing, where either it's going to go to zero, which already is at, or it'll be over $1. So, hey,
not even 5 years, man. I don't give this stuff 5 years because I know nothing about it. I didn't do any DD. I just saw, I bought it. I aped into it.
Right.
It like worked out really well. And now I'm just going to let it rock until I get like a 3 or 4X, and then I'll hop out, call it a day. Yeah.
I have such little money involved that like I'm really gonna just hold it for the long term. I have a spreadsheet that keep track of everything. I'm not even putting in the spreadsheet. It's gonna be one of those like I'm gonna like check back in 5 years and it's gonna be found money or no money, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That's what I do with my Coinbase earn rewards.
Yeah, you had a great trade with Algo, right? You did with Algo.
Well, not even trade. I did a quiz and then I had like $50. I'm like, when did this happen?
Amazing.
Yeah, I rolled it into ICP. and got cut in half. So there we go.
That's like when I bought Doge with my $5 Bitcoin money that turned into like $200, and then I got that cut in half, and then I had to buy ETH with it to try and recover gains. Yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, it's a fun way to do it though.
Yeah, because it's, you know what, like I put $5 in a Robinhood account, and I bought Bitcoin with it, and 3 or 4 years later, it turned into like a good amount of money. You know, it wasn't a lot, but like it was like cool. That's a nice dinner at a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
And I don't mind like trying to just like flip it and see what I can do with it. So
people don't appreciate that though. They don't want a nice dinner at a restaurant,
right?
You know? Right. But listen, you have a bunch of nice dinners. That's not money coming out of your pocket, and you had nice dinners at a restaurant. So it's like, hey, win-win. You know?
Exactly. Why not try it?
Well, everyone's trying to make it off just one trade, one giant trade, and sometimes that's all you need, right? Like, look at.
You had a great one with AMP, right? You
exactly
held it for a long time, and it worked out so well. You were in the bear market, you know, and you came out victorious.
Well, when I looked at AMP, I was just like, all right, who's behind this? What's the plan? What are they going to do? What does this token do? What's the community like? You know, I asked all those questions, and I went into the Telegram, and I was like super skeptical to myself. Maybe I wasn't outwardly skeptical, but to myself, I was like kind of skeptical. But then I literally read everything in that room since when they created the room to like, I mean, obviously I'm not in there as much anymore. Once it blew up, then there was like thousands of people who like came in, and it was interesting. It was cool.
Yeah.
But
I'm very proud of you, because that's like a great piece of DD and great conviction, honestly.
Yeah. I can't believe you didn't listen to me.
Well, I owned it. Like I had some AMP, but like I had probably like 10% of what you bought. So like, I'm very happy with my return, but it's not anywhere near a life-changing amount of money, you know?
Yeah. It was either that it was going to hit, or like, I just wasted much money and time, and I was kind of cool with both.
For me, it was, I came off that bear market, and I was pretty much like, screw every alt. I just want to stack as much ETH as possible, because that's the only thing I can trust is being real, you know? And I had that PTSD, because I didn't own an alt. I had, my only alt was AMP up until probably, honestly, like I started buying sushi in like February and Compound, and that was like the only time I started buying alts, you know?
Yeah, I remember talking to you about AMP and stuff, and you're like, yeah. Or when FXC became AMP.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, now they're rebranding. Now they're doing a
Here
migration.
we go. There you go. What's next? The mainnet. The mainnet's coming. Look, they've got a mainnet coming.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, no, man, this is not what you think it is. This is not like, hey, we're gonna pump the coin by rebranding. This is like adding functionality to it. It's doing a lot. It's gonna be really interesting.
Show me the white paper, please. Come on. No,
one of the cool things about AMP is now they are helping El Salvador accept Bitcoin payments.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they've integrated into that whole system. I think they're integrated with Banco Agricola, something like that. I'm probably butchering it. And another bank, I believe. And they created a new. So initially, when you went to go stake AMP, there was 2 contracts. There was Speedin and Gemini.
Yeah.
And both were given around what, like 3, 4, 5%, something like that.
Gemini started around like 5.5, and it came down to I think like 3. And Speedin was like around the same area.
Yeah, I think Gemini now is like 1.4 or something like that.
Probably, yeah.
Because then they added the Lightning transformer, which went to go, I guess, back payments on Lightning, collateralize those payments, especially like in El Salvador. And they started that APR or APY rather at 100%.
Yeah, and it came down all the way, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it's at now, but I helped a buddy of mine go onto it and stake his coins, and it was at like 8%.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't get in at 100. I got in at like, I don't know. It was up there though. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, we talked about it, but I had my coins locked up, and I couldn't get them over there quick enough, and then the gas fees, and I finally said, you know what, it already got cut in half from like 100 to like 50%, and I was like, forget it. I'll just leave them where it is.
You know, we need a fight for writing off gas fees.
It's something, right? You have Elizabeth Warren saying the gas is too damn high. Well, here you go, lady. Like, you know what? Can we write off the gas fees? It's killing me. It's terrible.
Yeah. I agree.
I've, you know what? I love Ether, right? I'm wearing an Ethereum shirt right now. I think Vitalik is a generational genius, but I've always said you have to be critical of everything. And I'm very critical of the fact that Ethereum is pricing out the average person from being able to use DeFi. Layer 2 is great, but right now, if I want to bridge, it's going to cost me 30 to 50 to $100 to bridge. And if I'm only trying to throw like $50 into USDC farms, every week, I can't legitimately do that without getting killed, right?
Yeah.
And I really wish that we had either a direct bridge from like Coinbase and Gemini straight to Arbitrum and Optimism, or we could figure out how to do this at a more feasible way. Because I just think it's not, the whole goal at the end of the day is to make DeFi for everybody so we can free ourselves from financial institutions. And I think we're struggling to really truly do that because, you know what, for the average person, they're living paycheck to paycheck and they don't have much disposable income. And they might only have like $50, $100 free at a time. And they're going to need to dollar cost average to get into these, farms. And we got to find a way to do it where those people have the ability to get some amazing yield, get phenomenal security, and not get destroyed by gas. And unless we can get that done, people are going to have to go to weaker chains. And I see the appeal, but I do think it's kind of unfair where Ether has the potential to be like the institutional whale chain that kind of leaves everyone else to fight for the scraps elsewhere. And I'm not crazy about that idea.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a good idea. But also, I think we're just very early.
Definitely, too.
Ultimately, and I think that this is evident in Bitcoin being number one, like security is probably the most important thing ever.
Yeah.
So if you have a smart contract platform like Ethereum that has a way higher security than, something like Solana, I think in the long run, I think Solana will still be here.
Yes.
I think Solana just has a lot going for it. 400,000 transactions per second.
They got spammed. They got spammed to that level, which is crazy that they were able to, and it didn't really count as like real transactions per second, but they cranked it to that level. And it's insanity, right? I like, obviously, like I got bullish on Solana. We got bullish on Solana. And I see the appeal. I can't yield farm on Ether because I don't want to put a lot of money down. And I like to have fun. I can't do that really right now. On Solana, I can jump in between pools, no problem. And it's costing me less than a penny to do that, right? Solana has a place and it's going to stay, right? The only thing I'm afraid of is at some point they get spam attacked and they don't recover from it, or they have to like fork. And I do think that they need to figure out a way to make sure that never happens. It is centralized. They need to just accept it, but they're building an EVM compatible, bridge essentially that's coming. Wormholes are already kind of doing that a little bit. So it should probably function in reality in tandem as a side chain as opposed to a competing L1. That probably be the best bet for the whole world if they can kind of work something out. And I'm not a tech guy, obviously, so I don't know how you would do that where you can have their speed and Ether security if it's even possible. But that would be the ideal situation.
Well, that just kind of points to like a multi-chain world.
Yeah.
In a way. I think we're going to probably end up there. I think that, yeah. I used to think that, it was going to be, not that I was a maxi ever, but I just didn't see the appeal of like anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum and things built on Ethereum. Like I thought everything else was kind of destined to fail.
Agreed.
But it's a big world, man.
Yeah. And listen, it wasn't until I started personally going into the other networks and seeing what they're doing that I started to say, yeah, multi-chain is going to work. And I think it's going to work very well. But we also have to remember these other networks, they didn't really have a product or a user base or even developers 2 years ago, right? Like Cosmos, I think it's got so many cool different things going on. I love the Cosmos ecosystem. It's so much fun, I think.
I know nothing about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, there's cool things like Terra. The Terra ecosystem is really awesome. Do Kwon's a really interesting founder. Kind of feels a little centralized. I'm not going to lie to you because like Do Kwon's kind of like the CEO of the whole thing, but they're doing cool things, right? Thorchain was built using the Cosmos SDK.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and there's cool opportunities that are being kind of developing, right? But if you looked at Cosmos 2 years ago, you would be like, okay, maybe this works. I don't know. Oh, IBC, what does that even mean? Now we're finally able to say, okay, I can jump into their Osmosis. I think is like their DEX. I can try out swapping. I can go on Thorchain, utilize their code essentially. I can go on Terra, and we're starting to see multi-chain actually here, right? Cosmos is firing on all cylinders. Solana's in development on that end. They're pretty much there already. Avalanche has some good Ponzi schemes, right? They have some crazy yield, right?
What's their yield like? I know nothing about it.
Go look up Penguin Finance. PEFI is a ticker. They're doing such like insane, stupid things. It's like 200% yield, and I'm like, yeah, I love this. And I almost bought some AVAX to be able to bridge and play around with it, but I overall just like it kind of got away from me, and I didn't want to burn the gas, and I had to wait for the ether to clear for withdrawal, and it just didn't make sense. But Avalanche is trying. They have a lot of money in their liquidity program. Polkadot,
like they got a lot of money in general, and they got bots.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what worries me.
Yeah,
right?
I don't like that. Yeah,
exactly. Because, and I put the feelers out. I do when I'm tweeting like that. I do it on purpose. I want to see who comes to me. Right. I want to talk shit. I want to hear you say why I'm wrong. I did that with Thorchain. The Thorchain Twitter account came at me with facts, and the community came at me with facts, and I appreciated that. Right. With Avalanche, all I'm getting is it's going higher. It's great.
Yeah.
It's so fast. It's so cheap. Right. The consensus is amazing. I'm not getting any real data. I'm getting bots, and it seems like a cult, but not the best, most attractive cult, right? So I do have my concerns, and AVAX is going to go higher. It's probably going to go like 150, 200 because they have a $700 million liquidity mining incentive program, right?
Whoa.
Money's going to come in. Right, exactly. Money's going to come in. My question is, will AVAX have a staying power after the money drives up? Right? Because once the liquidity program ends, farmers go to the next one, right? They don't stay hanging around unless there's a good intrinsic value present, right? So that's why I wonder with them. But I'm going to watch them because I think they're interesting. I bought some Polkadot. I don't know. I was like, yeah, okay. I don't know why I bought Polkadot. I don't really know if I'm going to keep it. I was like, I like interoperability. Maybe this is a good hedge to Cosmos. I'm listening to some podcasts with their founders. There's nothing there yet, Kusama sounds really cool. I kind of like Kusama more than Polkadot, to be honest with you.
So when they released the white paper on Compound Chain, I remember either maybe in the white paper or reading commentary about it that basically they're going to be built on Polkadot, and Compound Chain might be a parachain on Polkadot. What does that mean?
So Polkadot, they created like this, how like Shopify, you can create an e-commerce store in like 5 minutes, and it's just like a drop-down menu, and you kind of plug in your intimate details. So the founders of Polkadot basically created that, and it's called Substrate. So you can quickly build a blockchain from like the drop-down menu. They give you the template, and then you fill in the details. So it's a lot quicker and easier, right?
Interesting.
There's actually like Gavin Wood does a presentation where he's like, I'm going to build a blockchain in 15 minutes. And he shows you how he does it, right? So Polkadot has that, and it's to make everything quicker. And this is kind of where I get some intrigue because I can see like enterprise adoption coming through this window, right? Because enterprise, they're not going to be able to build a blockchain in 5 years. Like it's a lot. They're going to abandon the project. So maybe this might be attractive. But a parachain is essentially where Polkadot runs what they call layer 0. So like they're on the ground, and then the power chains kind of branch out from them, right? And they build these other blockchains, and everything's secured by Polkadot, but you have to like bid for the spot in the power chain to like, I guess like IDO essentially, right? So it's kind of got some
IDO.
It's kind of like an IDO, right? Where like
what is IDO? What does it stand for?
Oh, like a initial, I guess, direct offering. Right?
Oh, okay.
Like an ICO, you know how that was, right?
Yeah, you said, yeah.
Yeah, just like different Ponzi name for it. But what they do is really interesting. Where if I want to be a parachain, I need to like win an auction to get there. So like you have to bid the highest for the slot, and how that works is that you have to crowd loan. So compound chain, let's say they want to be a power chain, right? They now need to call up and market and say, hey, this is our product. This is what we're building. Can you sponsor us? And people will say, I love you, Robert Leshner. You're a genius. I'm going to take my Polkadot coins and I'm going to loan them to you. And you're going to use them to bid on the spot that's opening up, right? And whoever has the most coins wins the auction. And typically there's a trade-off where I loan you the coins and you give me back something in return. And then after the expiration date, I get my coins back. So it's like a 6-month lockup or a 2-year lockup. And then I get my money back at the end. But I also can get some other token with it, which is like an airdrop essentially, right? And that's appealing because when you do an ICO or IDO, wherever they are nowadays, you're bidding and you're paying for it and you don't get the money back at all. Here, you're kind of getting a free token when you think about it for just loaning it out. So I do see some interesting dynamics where if enough projects are present that have good value and good merit, it could catch the investor's eye for a free opportunity to make some money. So that's one thing that's kind of like got me attracted to it. And then the Kusama network is like the chaos net, where it's a test net, but it's a live, living, fully functional test net. It's not like a bullshit one. So like you go on Kusama and you're just like, yeah, we're going to be fully active. And if we get hacked, we get hacked. We're going to figure out how to make it work no matter what. It's like, go as fast and as crazy as possible. Let's see how good we are with our tech. I think it's pretty cool, you know?
Oh, that is really cool.
But
I know nothing about Kusama or Polkadot. I just know Pantera was like a big DOT investor.
Yeah. And DOT, like the tokenomics kind of suck. It's like a 10% inflation and it's already a 1 billion coin supply, right? The inflation goes to stakers and some leftover coins go to treasury. And if the treasury doesn't want to use it for anything, then they burn it. But that's going to weigh down. Like you can't have a meteoric rise when you have 10% inflation. So hopefully they target.
Oh, look at Solana. Solana has an 8% inflation.
Right. And the only reason why they're doing it is because they have 75% stake, you know? So and Polkadot is aiming for a 75% staking. And I do think that if crowd loans take off, right? So you have the stakers and then you have the loaners, that could actually create a good tailwind that dilutes some of that inflation long term. So I wonder how that works. But yeah, I don't know. I threw a couple of bucks at it. It's like a starter position. It's a little bit bigger than what I paid or what I put in for Luna and Atom back in during the crash in May. So it's a little bit of a bigger initial investment, but overall, I'm not planning on adding. It's like a 1% position for me. I'm just going to kind of, if I keep it, I'm going to let it go and see what happens.
Yeah, that's exactly my thinking on MCO or MCO2 or whatever.
MCO2. I love it though. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, but same thinking though. I'm gonna have 1% position. I'm just gonna kind of let it rock and not really think too much into it. That's the best thing for a 1% position. Right. What are you trying to make? You know?
Right. If I'm gonna be right, it'll grow to maybe a 3, 4, or 5% position, and I'm okay with that. And if I'm wrong, well, Ether or Bitcoin should have made me enough money where I can go to zero and I won't even feel it. You know?
No, 100%. What do you think your best bull case is for the next, let's say, 6 months?
So I don't know. We're all saying 10K ETH, 100K Bitcoin. That's what everyone's saying, right? That's my idea. I do wonder if we're all saying it, is it going to happen?
I think 100K for Bitcoin. If we do have like this parabolic rise, I think 100K is conservative.
Yeah, it definitely could be. My cat is now walking on the table, so she walks. But yeah, I think 100K could be conservative. We can see like 250 probably, right? You look at the stock to flow charts and stuff.
That's probably won't be a whole number though. It'll probably be something weird. Like we didn't even really hit 20,000 in 2017, 2018. Right. We hit like 19 and change, but it was close enough.
Right.
You know, I could see us do like 123,000, 117, 119.
Or even like maybe even like 93,000, 94,000.
Oh, right there. Yeah, 99, and I can see that.
Dude, I'll tell you this right now. If we hit like 99,000 or 93,000, we don't hit 100,000, we're going to retrace 75%. It's going to be hell. It's such a
100%.
it's that the $100,000 mark. If we're gonna do it, it has to break through because it's such a psychological point. If they don't do it, I think it's gonna see a very ugly bear market afterwards. I really do.
I think no matter what, we're getting an ugly bear market, dude. The macro factors at play right now, I think, like, if I'm using the word correctly, everything I see, it's just very bearish. Like, past once the Fed tapers,
Yeah.
you'll still be able to make money, but like it's just not going to be the same environment where like everything goes up, exuberance. So everything's going to retrace. It's going to be miserable, and it's not probably going to get resolved till the next election, most likely.
Here's the thing, right? Will the Fed taper? Yes, they're going to do it, but will they do it to a point where asset prices get destroyed? I don't think so. You know, I do think you're going to see it being a tougher environment to make money, right? Where we're not going to go up, because Bitcoin went from, I'm not going to count the $3,000 in March of 2020 because I feel like that didn't count, but I'm going to say from $10,000 in 2020, it basically then went up like 6.5 times from there.
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to see that kind of a move, in a year, right? I think you'll see like maybe we'll go up like 20% in assets, 30%. I think it's gonna be very much like a calmer, slower, steady run. We'll probably have a pullback, definitely a correction, but I don't know. Do you think we'll see these kind of gigantic bear markets again? I mean, there's real money involved now. It's not just like people like us.
I know, but for crypto, I think that it's just the nature of the beast, and I think that Gensler and all these stooges, they're kind of like circling, and they want to come after it, and they want to pop the bubble like they did in 2018. They want to pop the bubble again, and they're probably going to succeed. It's really like a war. They're really trying to fight a war, and the thing is, they're probably the best equipped regulators. They control world finance. They control everything. But like, look at fucking Afghanistan. Seriously. You have the biggest military power. You have these small insurgents. And the insurgents, you know what? They just don't leave. They just don't stop. This is what they do. They know this area. They live in this area. They're not going anywhere. And then I think it's kind of the same for crypto. You're going to see this monster machine of regulation kind of bear down on everyone. And it's going to be shit for a while. We're going to have to deal with nonsense for a year or two. But ultimately, what's going to win the war? What's going to win the war is us going to, it's probably different than the insurgents who just had to outlast. But in a way, I mean, we have to outlast. But the apparatus and the machine behind crypto is going to lobby so aggressively. Probably, and just consider like what this industry has done. It's literally been nothing, and it's became worth $2 trillion.
Yeah.
In 10 years. And it's changed lives, millions of active users all over the world. So when you take those brains and now you're going to point them at DC, like these guys are chess players. It's not going to be an even fight. You have short-term thinkers trying to just get elected to the next election cycle.
Right.
And then you have these long-term people who are just thinking about how they're going to win. And everything is riding on this for them, human freedom, like these huge ideals. They're not just fighting for their wallets. They're fighting for something bigger. Because
dude, in Afghanistan, people are making more money from owning Bitcoin than they do from working a real job. Right.
And a lot of countries.
Right. And there's not a lot of people who are able to do this, but the young people who are doing it are finding livings to create opportunities. Right.
So there was an article about that. I didn't read it, but what were they saying?
Yeah. So I really hate that they freaking did this. I forgot which publication it was, but they said, oh, this person right here. And they write down the person's real name. And it's just like, you just dox this guy. They're going to probably get robbed or something. You're an idiot. Why would you do that? Hopefully it was a fake name. Who knows? But
they probably did a fake name if they
were smart, right? If they're Bitcoin owners, they should probably know that, right? But there were a couple of people that were like, yeah, I started buying Bitcoin and now I make more money than I did from working in the fields. And then a couple of people were like, this is okay because now I have like, some stability, even though like the world around me is falling apart. But the real problem is it's like a 99.9% cash society, right? Where they're like, the only thing is we don't have cash. Everyone needs cash. And the banks weren't really opening their doors to them when the Taliban kind of came back in, took over. And a lot of people couldn't get their money in a cash world. That sucks. And to me, it's like, how do you hear this and not say, fuck yeah, Like, let's get Bitcoin, let's get stable coins, let's get all these great tools, let's get them everywhere in the world, right? Lebanon, like 6 months ago, had a bank run, and people couldn't get their money out of the bank. And what they were doing instead was basically taking like 10 cents on the dollar to get some kind of form of money to have in their hands, because they're worth more than leaving the money in the bank for a day, right? Because inflation was going crazy. It's like, how can you look at this and tell me crypto is bullshit and tell me it's not something that people can benefit from long term, right? Yeah, there's fucking Ponzi's, right? There's rug pulling, there's exploits, right? We need regulation, 1,000%. It sucks to kind of figure out your taxes. I want to pay taxes. I get it. But let's not kill innovation and let's not stymie growth, right? This is our opportunity. China is saying, I'm closing my doors. Here's your chance. I'm going to do my thing. You take care of
Closing
the
my
rest of the
doors
world.
for the 25th time.
Right, right. And they're telling you this is your chance to take this and succeed. And we're saying, those stable coins, they're stable value coins. We're trying to turn them into into assets and securities instead of admitting what they are, a currency, right?
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate what Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler are doing because they're so uneducated on this one topic, or there's so much involved with the traditional finance world that they're not thinking purely anymore. And I hate that, right? Regulate, but encourage innovation and growth. This is a chance for America to now lead the world again in a new way. And I'm worried that they're going to say something stupid, do something dumb, and developers are going to move to other countries, and we're going to miss out on $1 trillion GDP moment. And I really hate that could happen.
Well, what I think is that I think the digital renminbi, this is still trials, right, for the Chinese yuan,
Basically,
the digital version.
They've gotten to the point now where it's pretty much in like low circulation. You can buy stuff with it. Old people have the equivalent on a debit card, so they don't need a phone app. Smart contracts are coming in the next couple of years. So they're still in the very early stages, like 2018 Bitcoin like stages probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was reading something like 2022,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's some sort of launch or upgrade or something.
It's like yeah, I'm sorry. It's going to happen probably more along that time period. Go ahead.
So this reminds me of the Churchill quote that the United States will always do like what's best after it's exhausted all other options.
Right.
Right. No, the United States will always do the right thing after it's exhausted all their options. Right. So we're going to do the right thing eventually, but like, it's not going to be this year. It's not going to be next year. This won't gain any traction until China is like really sending their one out and like people want it because it's more stable than their currencies and they have phones. And then we're going to say, shit,
great.
We're just launching a beta test of our CBDC. Meanwhile, we'll have a decent crypto industry lobby at that point. We'll have a lot of miners in the US. And I think that's when you'll see more supportive policy of like stable coins and all this, because they're going to be in a panic of like, we need to get this out there. We need people using dollars. This is really a war. Because whenever somebody talks about the digital renminbi, right, it's always of the same mindset of like, yeah, the US is the reserve currency of the world. And like, that's not going to change anytime soon. And like every article you read about the Chinese CBDC, some iteration of that phrase is there. US is the reserve currency of the world. It's not going to change. Not going to change anytime soon. Not in our lifetime. But when everyone has this certain consensus, my instinct is to say like, no, you're probably wrong. It's probably by the end of the decade. Why not? If this stuff moves lightning fast, we already seen what Bitcoin did in 10 years. Yeah. Now you have like one of the most powerful states in the world, one of the most powerful countries and regimes in the world pushing it. Like, come on, man. It's only a matter of time. And how they have a footprint in all over Africa, pushing into South America, getting into Europe. Like, I don't see, the digital renminbi being popular in Europe, but like a country like Syria, a country like Lebanon, countries in Africa. Hey, use this, or you can, learn about Bitcoin on your own and these other cryptocurrencies. You can learn about those on your own, or this stable coin, which the US government is like going against now and doesn't really like at all. Or you can have the Chinese renminbi. Hey, we got you. We'll even send you some. You guys should use this. It's great.
Right. And it's going to be so much easier to use it to transact for trade, right? All the manufacturing is still coming out of, Asia, right?
Exactly.
And China has the gigantic footprint there. They're not going to let that manufacturing moat pull away from them unless they choose to do it. And the Middle East, like, I think they're taking very calculated steps to doing what they're doing in Africa, eventually in the Middle East, where they're going to probably go in there and say, hey, it's time. Let's start industrializing. Let's start kicking things up to the next level. And that probably happens like in the 2030s, you know?
Well, that's all part of their Silk Road initiative.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're America, how do you sit here and say, yeah, let's just, completely discredit everything and think it's all BS and not care, right? Like, you got to get after it hard. And I hate that we're not doing that. Regulate. That's good. Regulations bring more legitimacy. They bring more people in, right? But don't sit here and say stupid stuff. You saw the Gensler thing where he's like, oh, yeah, save your $5 a week. Yeah, you're going to be so rich.
168,000 by the time you're 65.
Right? Like, come on, bro. You just told Coinbase they can't offer 4% guaranteed yield, right? And Coinbase is like the poster child of like doing the right thing with regulations. And you're saying no to that because you want them to go save their money in their savings account, getting 0.5%, if not even 0.5%, probably. It's so stupid. I hate that. I really do.
Dude, but this is not logical, and it's sort of, what it has to be. He sat in that chair, right? He took this position, and it's probably like a lot of people in that town where now I want to make a name for myself. I will be the guy that kills crypto. I will be the guy that brings it in line. I will be the sheriff.
Right.
That's going to be me. I mean, you don't accept a post like that unless you have that sort of mentality somewhere in your head where you want to be in charge. You want to crack the whip. You want to show people what's what, and you want to advance your career in this sort of DC politics sort of way. But the thing is, he's probably not going to be successful because think of it, even in regards to Coinbase earned, right? That 4%. What are we getting right now on Gemini?
Gemini USD, is giving you like 8%.
Right. And that's already a program.
Right.
That's been out for a year now, maybe
more. That's the thing, right? Like, why is Gemini okay and Coinbase isn't? I don't get that.
And I think they don't even know. Because if they knew, they would be sitting with Coinbase and telling them this is why and this is why not. But if you listen to Brian Armstrong, he says, listen, we've been trying to meet with the SEC for a while and we're unable. They don't want to speak to us. We work with 50 other regulators or over 50 regulators in the United States, but the SEC does not want to sit down and have this conversation. So there's more to it. And especially since other companies are doing the same exact thing.
Right. I'm looking at Gemini now. All right. The GUSD, 8.05%. Okay. DAI, 7.55%. UST, the Terra Luna stablecoin, 6.88%. That's an algorithmic one, so it's a little more riskier than the other two, right? Why would you say that this is a bad thing? Right? These are stable coins. They don't fluctuate in volatility. They don't go up in price. The UST, it's based on an algorithm, right? It's backed by Luna. That one I could see that. I could see the SEC saying, yeah, we'll give you audited stable coins backed by the dollar 1-to-1. We're okay with that, but we're not going to do decentralized ones. I do think that's a possibility, right? But why would you not want the American people? Think about what this does for the middle class, right? They can save money and actually create an opportunity. One of the things that China did to bank their population and then to create a roaring middle class was to give Alibaba, Tencent, and Baidu banking licenses so they can now make their apps bank accounts, and the people who are starting to bank with them getting savings accounts and being offered financial products. And that's what made them go from a severely underbanked country to pretty much the number 2 power in the world, right? Why would we say no to that? And it's got to be two things, right? It's either Gary Gensler is running a hard bargain because he wants to start really hard and then he's going to settle somewhere very fair, or Gary Gensler is going to become an advisor after he's done for one of these big crypto like companies. And he's going to get a shit ton of money because he's going to say, I know everything about regulation. I created a law. Come pay me, $5 million a year or whatever. And I think it's probably a combination of both.
And we've actually seen that happen with the BitLicense, right, in New York. where the guy who engineered the bit license went to go work for crypto companies right after and help them navigate the bit license process, which is interesting.
It's all like, it's what they do, right? Like they work at the Fed, they work at the SEC, and then they leave, and then they do other things, and they make a ton of money. They make these speeches, get paid a lot of money, and no one really benefits, right? And they don't even believe in the shit that they're spewing, right? Like when they leave the Fed, they talk crap about what the Fed did. It's hilarious.
It's all those positions, man. It's the revolving door. It's unfortunate, and it's probably not going to end because it's just human nature.
Right.
We really should have laws in place to stop this sort of thing from happening. But then everyone who are in these positions, they got in those positions most likely to do the whole revolving door thing.
Right.
Or not everybody, but let's say like 90, 80%, something like that. Right. Because you always have like the Bernie Sanders of the world and like the Ron Pauls, where just, hey, look, these are my convictions. I'm going to live and die by them. And, that's respectable, but they're in the minority, man.
Right.
Everybody else.
It's like the world throws those guys at you to say, no, we're fair. Here's a guy that wants to help you. And then we throw 5 other, corrupt politicians afterwards.
Well, why be a politician? Why would you want to do that?
You really think you're making change that way? It rarely happens. It really does.
You can't. How are you going to make change, man? Everything is so entrenched. The only reason I think crypto is going to be okay is not because the politicians. It's because they're going to have the most effective lobbying campaign in the entire world. They're going to have one of the best lobbying apparatuses, and it's being built now, man. And it's multi-tiered, and also it will be bigger than the banking lobby is known, and financial lobby probably one of the biggest, right? If not the biggest. I'm not really too fluent in how these things work.
Tobacco, guns, and banking, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. Goldman Sachs and their lobbyists, they're lobbying for a particular issue. How you're not going to get people to turn out and put pressure on the politicians for that issue because nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Right. But for crypto,
right,
you could throw an event. You can get thousands of people, especially in big cities, to turn out. Hey, man, come to this protest. Proof of participation, NFT. Yeah, proof of attendance, NFT.
That's a great point.
Right? What does that cost them? Maybe a couple $100,000 in gas.
Right.
To do it on
developers to do it, an artist, right?
Yeah, it's a donation. Hey, we're just donating it to the PAC. The PAC is actually spreading it, right? Or the super PAC, or are those tax deductible donations? I'm not really sure.
Probably, yeah.
You think political donations might not be tax deductible?
I'm not sure.
It needs to be charitable.
Okay.
But still, I'm sure there's a way to write off the gas you'd spend and give everybody an NFT who showed up, and if you'd have a line from here to Manhattan.
Here's the thing: you make a bad NFT policy. You mean to tell me Vincent Van Gogh isn't going to do something to make sure that he can continue making money off NFTs?
Oh yeah.
So many rich people are going to make sure that their livelihoods grow, and this is why crypto will not die. Number one, it's a meme, right? Our generation loves anything with memes. And as long as a meme continues and doesn't die down, it grows even more voraciously. Number two.
You could say a lot of things are memes, though. You could say Christianity's a meme, right? You could say all religions are a meme. So it's just a powerful meme. It's just another one.
Right. Exactly. Right. And number two, it's proven to be a gold rush. Now, will it offer the same kind of returns? Obviously, you're not going to get, always. It's not likely that people are going to become millionaires off of a $1,000 investment like it was 10 years ago with Bitcoin. But it's proven to be a gold rush. You're going to get people in there who are going to be attracted to it because it's an opportunity, right? And the more it stays, it develops staying power. It's called Lindy effects. The longer it exists, the more realistic and believable it becomes. It's been 10 years, right? We went through the 95% bear market that killed everything. And you and I and a couple of our friends were the only ones that stood the pack. And I think about everyone that we knew who was involved back then. They're back in it again now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's to say they don't stay this time? Because now they're making money and now they understand, right? And if we don't have a 95% bear market, crypto will never, ever become anything but one of the biggest industries in the world, right?
I still even think with the 90% bear market, I still think we're going to still stick around.
Well, here's the thing, right? No one sells. Who's selling? The bear markets happen because buying power dries up and liquidations cascade the chaos. but no one's actually selling willingly. It's just liquidations and it's no one buying, right? It's not actually a bad thing. You're not seeing Bitcoin wallets like drop everything they hold and shocking the market, right? It's
last bear market, what was it, 86% held?
Yeah, 86% held from 20,000 to 3,000, right? During this recent crash, the only people that sold were like the people that were like 2 or 3 weeks old in their purchases. I didn't sell anything. I bought more,
Yeah.
People aren't selling. So I do think even with the bear market, it might get hard and annoying, right? But eat some ramen soup. We're gonna make it even better.
Yeah, no, listen, the bear market, it's something to like think back on in a way kindly, because you could still make money in the bear market. Still, there was projects that took off. Yeah.
And dude, you make money in bear markets. You don't make money in a bull market. It's already been made at that point.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
Yeah,
in that sense.
Yeah, I all my buying, all right, I bought Luna at 570, right? It's at like 36 now. I don't want to buy any more Luna at 36. I actually don't like it at 36 that much. I'm not selling it because I love it, but you buy these things when they're depressed and you find the best options available. And then just supply and demand naturally finds a balance point, and we find the proper medium and we re-rate to the proper price. A bear market, if you can just stay solvent, is the greatest opportunity. Just don't go on leverage and just chill, research, and stick to a fair plan that you can afford. And you'll be happy with it in a year, 2 years, 3 years,
Yeah, it worked out for us.
Yeah. Right. And we didn't even start with a ton of money, right? Like we started from smaller beginnings, and it's been very happy. Like now we're older, like our generation, I think, is going to plow into the next bear market if we get one. And I think it's going to be good. I think the world's going to be pro crypto, and I don't see how it doesn't stay long term.
Yeah, I don't. Well, here's the thing with the regulations too. The regulations aren't going to be targeting Bitcoin, because we already seen whatever carve out they did, I think, in the infrastructure bill.
Yeah.
But they were like exempted proof of work, and then they had to go back, and they had this whole fiasco, and who knows if it's even going to pass now with everything going on. Which is a little ridiculous, man.
Politics, this country is so stupid.
Nothing. Dude, nothing. I think that the whole coin phenomena, like, hey, he should print the $1 trillion coin to raise the debt ceiling or whatever. I told you this before. I really think that's going to happen. Not in this administration, but there will be a cavalier president who comes along and says, hey, look, Congress isn't doing anything. Right. The activity of Congress and like getting things done has just literally been getting less and less over time. So if you have a bold enough president, doesn't give a shit, he could print this coin. He could have a whole legislative agenda. He could fund the entire government off printing these $1 trillion coins.
I mean, what's stopping him from saying, I'm going to print this money and then buy back everything, Like money's not real, right?
Which is why I think part of the reason they don't want to do the coin right now.
Yeah.
But at some point, it's going to be attractive.
And at some point, I think the Federal Reserve and other central banks have Bitcoin in their reserves. I really do. Maybe not a lot, but I think everybody owns some Bitcoin. I don't see it not happening.
I agree. These people, they're so focused on like what's worked, what's working now, that they like fail to see everything that's going to happen.
Exactly.
And if you're paying attention, like it's very, very obvious where we're going. It's almost like, I mean, there's obviously branches we could, split off into whatever, but the direction of where society is going in technology, it's very, very obvious to think that we're going to be using these banking rails, like takes 3 to 5 days to clear. And no, absolutely not. We're going to be doing instant transactions on headsets by the end of the decade.
Right. I can get money from a brokerage account into my bank account within 24 hours. Okay. But I can send, USDC to a different wallet in like 5 seconds?
Yeah. Maybe 10 minutes, maybe.
Think about, right. Think about the people who rely on money and speed. They don't want the old rails because that's a missed opportunity. That's an arbitrage opportunity that they lost, right? Mm-hmm. Settlement on USDC is here through Visa. It's coming through MasterCard at some point. It's only going to grow because it works, And I actually think that the Fed coin will be USDC. I don't know. I have that feeling. I think that's gonna be our stable coin for the country.
USDC. I could see like a public version that comes out. I think we'll have a bunch. I don't think it's gonna we're gonna have the Fed coin and it's gonna be like the US dollar digital version and then that's it. Just not probably gonna happen. We're probably just gonna have a bunch. And since this whole thing is permissionless, any regulation they put in place on the actual user, it's a losing battle. It's going to be like fighting Napster or fighting torrents or fighting any of these things. You can get little things here and there. There's going to be really egregious people that push things, guys seeding 75 different movies that just came out last week. Like there's always going to be those actors that you're going to catch and whatever. But like most people aren't trying to do the wrong thing.
No,
you're just saying like, look, this rule that you have in place, it's unfair and it doesn't make any sense and it's not hurting anybody. So like, why can't I do this thing? Like, who are you to tell me I can't do this thing? And most people I think have that kind of attitude and that's why they downloaded movies or they downloaded music, back in the day.
And there's no law saying you can't do it.
Yeah.
And how can you write the law saying you can't do it? You can't really. It's kind of like how you phrase it. How do you make it accountable, right? Are they going to make every wallet?
Think of the piracy laws, right? They put those into place. You're not allowed to do it. It's illegal, but like you can't. What are you going to arrest whole cities?
But the thing is, a piracy law, you can backtrack and find out through ISPs, right? From seeing how much data is being used.
Depending on how you do it, but there's no real way. If you were trying to turn it into like a profit thing, right?
Yeah.
Then obviously.
I know people who were like had their internet throttled and like warned about it. Like you obviously can't tell what they're doing it for. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
when I was little.
Yeah. But when it comes to crypto, the only way to do it is if every app and every wallet is forced to KYC. If you KYC the wallet, then everything changes. I do think that's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know how they would do it, but I do think it's a possibility.
It's like a dystopian possibility, though. Like to have to register every wallet. Like I like the fact that I have all these wallets, and I don't even really know. Like, if you really sat down with me, like, tell me all your wallets, like,
right? How would you feel though if it was like a zero knowledge proof where like you have to just register the wallet, but it gets scrambled, no one knows it, but it does exist if you ever got like audited? How would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean,
isn't
that kind of what it is now?
I guess.
You just have more deniability at this point. Just say like,
right. The only thing you have is, okay, I sent money from Coinbase to this wallet, and then like that's the only. And then where do you go from there, right? So I guess
they're gonna have to. They're probably gonna make a rule that like within 2 transfers or 2 wallets, like it's still yours or something like that. But how do you prove that? And then they're going to have to do targeted enforcement. They're going to have to look at the most egregious person who just clearly is just trying to not pay taxes and then go after that person.
And Palantir makes a software that scrapes all the chains to figure that out.
Really?
Yep. So that's pretty freaking cool, right? That's another business point that people don't realize about Palantir. It's amazing.
It's interesting. Hopefully they're just deploying that against like terrorists. Not like
yeah. I would hope so, right? No one's saying, "Oh, Vincent Van Gogh bought too many NFTs. Let's get after him." We'll see what the world has, though. It's all we can do is just kind of play by the rules and do our best to educate.
Yeah, I say we peak out by April. From now until April, I am bullish. But also, as I'm bullish, I'm looking to set up like a nice cash position during this time.
I plan on peeling some off if we hit 100K. For some more renovations and for like a little mini cash pile. I'm not going to peel a lot off though. I'm hoping that we run so hard and so parabolically that if it pulls back 50%, I'm still up by like 50%. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like I could take a 50% haircut over everything that I own right now and still be in a way better position than I was, 3 years ago.
Right. Like if Bitcoin gets cut in half, that won't affect me. If Ether does, I'll be down some money, but I'll probably just buy more Ether. So I won't even care.
Yeah. Also, I want to see like a $4 trillion market cap, 3 to 4 total crypto market cap.
I can see it. Definitely. Right.
And before we hit 3 trillion or over 3 trillion to 4, like I'm not really thinking of selling anything.
No, and I'm not selling any of my Ether honestly, unless it like goes parabolic into like 20K over the weekend, that kind of thing. Because the thing to me is like Ether, I don't think Ether has a total addressable market. I don't think it has like a number that you can quantify it with, right?
That
Is
makes
it a
sense.
$1 trillion company or protocol? Is it a $10 trillion protocol? What is it, right? Because it does everything. And as long as we see the proper scaling, it's not gonna go anywhere, right? I think sharding will fix the issues and the complaints I have probably within the next
we'll get
5 years,
there.
though. Yeah, it's probably
I
5 years
think
away,
so.
though.
But when that does happen, does it negate the other chains or the other, Ethereum killers? Does it just take that out? I don't know.
I think what would have to happen at that point is, people saying, well, I'm so used to playing my blockchain gaming on Solana. It's okay. I'm going to just stay here, right? I think you have to pick and choose who you're going to own, right? I own Solana because I think it offers blockchain gaming. I think that's going to work. I think Star Atlas is a beginning for that. And I think it's going to potentially pull people in for DeFi protocols because they're going to be very affordable, right? And Solana has the big money machine behind it, right? It has the marketing tools. I don't think it's going anywhere.
Sam.
Right. Sam's got Serum. You ever look at the Serum token schedule? It's disgusting.
No, but I did own Serum, and I think I sold it at a loss at some point.
Dude,
I didn't own a lot though.
Dude, do yourself a favor. Look at the inflation schedule because it's disgusting. Solana, I have my complaints with Ether, right, about everything. My complaints with Solana is that every coin has like a 5 million circulating float and then like a 150 billion like max float. And then within the next 3 years, they go up like, insanely. Serum goes from like, I think it's like 100 million right now. I'm going to pull it up, but it's going to end up at like a $10 billion supply. And it's a disgusting inflation.
When are these schedules supposed to hit though? Is it like Bitcoin, like 2140, the last coin is minted?
No, see, like if that was the case, we wouldn't care, right? They'll happen. They're all going to happen this decade and like at the end of this decade.
At the end, though.
Yeah, it's
for all the supply by the end,
or not all of it, but like you're gonna see a big supply shock, right? Because here's the thing, dude. Serum, 133 million coins circulating, right? 1 billion total supply. So that's like some stuff, I guess, ready to release for staking rewards and things like that, right? 10 billion max supply, and that's gonna unfold over the next few years, right? I'm gonna try and pull up their.
They got to be thinking that it's really going to take off in terms of users. That's the only reason I see for that, or they're just massive institutional adoption.
Yeah, and there's a burn mechanism too, so that's I guess part of their plan. But Serum unlock date, right? In 2022, it starts exploding. By 2027, we're at 10 billion coins. And that's, I mean, if they burn enough, they burn enough, right? But
is 10 billion really a lot of coins when you think about
it? No, it's not that bad, right? But when you think about that kind of inflation, though, dude, when you're at 133 million right now, it's going to end at 10 billion in 5 years. I don't know. To me, that's like, you better start selling this shit in 2023. I think that's when I would start selling. I don't know. And maybe I'll be wrong.
Might be in the midst of a bear market in 2023.
Yeah, I probably will be, right?
Yeah. History repeats itself, right? 2022, 2023, bear market, 2024, we start turning around, bull market around then, Bitcoin halving. I would want to pick up that I failed to pick up. I picked up a little bit, but not as much as I'd like. Litecoin pre next halving, which would be what would it be? 2023?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I think that might be a move around October 2023. Litecoin's going to halve again. I don't know what the issuance is right now, but it'll get cut in half. Last time that happened, we went from like what, $8 to like 200,
something like that. Yeah,
something crazy. Yeah. So I mean, I could see that totally happening again.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable, dude. My cat is just kind of hanging out here.
What up?
But yeah. So I think we got a nice, fun journey ahead of us. And I think we're going to just kind of hope for the best from regulations. And every time China FUDs, we buy more. Screw it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I posted that chart today. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It's like every China FUD. Yeah. And then the return right after.
Right.
It's like, yeah, this is just what they. Like, I woke up this morning and I was like, why are we down? I checked Twitter. I'm like, oh, China FUD.
I know, and it's from like 4 months ago too. Like this, it's
Yeah.
like literally not even recent.
Dude, it makes zero sense, and I really like how nobody in, and this is what we're just going back to mainstream media again.
Yeah,
They'll write articles that trying to ban it, but they will not say that like, hey, like, look, this happens all the time.
right.
Like, nobody said that.
No, this is totally normal, by the way. Just get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually didn't buy any Bitcoin today. I missed the lows. I might actually buy some when I get off the podcast right now, honestly.
I bought some this morning when I woke up. I was like, we're down. Like, all right, whatever. Deploy.
Right, steer it right. All right, man. Well, I think this was a good show, and I think we have a good future ahead of us here for the program.
Definitely. Let's try to keep to Fridays, and we'll get it out by Mondays. Or
yeah, that works. And let me know what it costs for the editor, and I'll send you, I guess, some Bitcoin for it.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're on the free trial.
Okay.
So should be all right right now.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, dude. I'll see you.
See ya. Take it easy.
Yep, you too.
The Satoshi Alien will help you understand technology and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and believe you like it. The Satoshi Alien will help you understand investments and make money, so come listen to the aliens guys.